with support from the Degama Group.
Welcome to Rumbo Minero. I'm Jorge Leon Benavides, and today I'll be hosting the show without Cesar Campos, who sadly can't be with us today, but will join us next week. Let's discuss this exciting program. Rumbo Minero is going to Moquegua for the Comasurmin event. The key mining event in Moquegua, which is quite interesting. So we will be there from November 4th to 8th. You can visit the Comasurmin website or Moqueguamin, and it will be very interesting. An event with visits to mining companies and facilities, to projects, plus a fair and engaging talks in Moquegua, which has all the comforts. Ismael Ramirez from Sauder will be here to discuss Comasurmin. And Rafael Guerrero from Golfit will join us to discuss projections and the supply chain, making it a very comprehensive program that I'm sure you will enjoy. Now let's join Gabriela Chico for the main mining news of the week.
Thanks, Jorge. These are the top mining news stories for the week. Raul Benavides, director of Minas Buenaventura, announced the company's ambitious proposal to produce 15,000 tons of copper daily, silver, and zinc at the El Algarrobo project site. Therefore, Buenaventura has decided to promote a private initiative to exploit the TG3 deposit located beneath the Piura River, which would help the company not only speed up project development, but also provide social benefits to nearby communities, like providing water for agriculture in Ocuto starting from the exploration phase. Peru's mining GDP recorded a 3% growth between January and August of this year in comparison to the same period last year. Exports also rose by 9% in this period, fueled by increased production of metals such as gold, silver, tin, molybdenum, lead, and iron, as reported in the monthly Mining Statistical Bulletin. Luis Rivera, Executive VP of Golfis Americas Region. He stated that the company has a budget of $20 million for all explorations to be conducted next year in our country. The key point is that we have an exploration budget that will remain next year for our activities in Cajamarca, but mainly in Moquegua. We are very active in Moquegua, where we have nearly 6,000 hectares with permits, Rivera detailed.
Well, now we connect directly to Cajamarca, a truly important city for mining with many projects to develop. But we will speak with Rafael Guerrero about the Golfit Cerro Corona operation. He is the mine superintendent of Golfit. Rafael, how are you? Welcome to the show, Rumbo Minero.
Jorge, how are you? Good morning. I'm happy to be here on your show. Glad to assist.
Thank you. We have many emails and messages from our viewers asking for more information about Cerro Corona. As the mine superintendent, I'd like you to explain more so everyone knows about this important project, about this key project.
Great. Look, Cerro Corona is located 80 kilometers from the city of Cajamarca in Hualgayoc. We have surrounding communities in the vicinity, extremely significant. It is a mine that produces copper concentrate and gold. We extract it in that form as concentrate and transport it to Salaverry. After that, is sold towards
outside, right? The Salaverry port.
Salaverry port. Yes, Goldfield is about 3,800 meters high.
Agreed. Currently, a piece of news that consistently brings satisfaction in mining operations is achieving zero incidents over extended periods. In this regard, Golfit has exceeded 2 million hours without any incidents, which We are really happy because mining is always conducted with legal practices, isn't it? It is done with all the technology and with all possible care, but in this case, tell us about the strategy. You're breaking records with this good news, right?
Definitely, Jorge. Safety is a fundamental pillar in every operation. For Goldfield, it is a pillar that we respect greatly, and we work quite a bit under two approaches. One approach is cultural. That focuses on the person with leadership and courage. What does that mean? It means that anyone who sees a condition or an act must report it at all levels. In safety, there is a very horizontal line. No managers, no superintendents, no workers. Safety is for everyone. We all return home safe and sound after each workday. That's our motto, and if we can't operate safely, we don't operate. This cultural focus relies on leadership, courage, commitment, and above all, essential behaviors. See how crucial vital behaviors are as they ultimately create culture? It creates culture. Today, I must take care of myself. Because I need to be well, I want to return home safe. And technical programs, obviously, every mining operation has them, right? Risk assessments, procedures, audits, right? This is something that everyone should understand and implement, being consistent with words and actions. If I have a procedure that consists of 10 steps, I must follow all 10 steps. I can't skip any. It could lead to a safety incident for me. Now we are much in the...
Now tell us a bit, Rafael, about investment in safety. Many times it is perceived as PPE, right? To help people understand, PPE includes gloves, hats, glasses, boots, and steel-toed shoes. But the investment you make is a different one, right? It's about investing in people so that this is quite interesting what you mentioned about the simple fact that anyone, regardless of rank, is able to report, so to speak, as they are also at risk while building a community to protect each other, right?
Correct. That's about looking out for one another. When you mention investment, it's crucial in safety. Obviously, a mine needs to produce two. Thus, we've introduced these two concepts: safe production. We have to win, yes, or we must pay wages, but we need to get home safely. So that's the investment. Look, we have been at this for about 16 months. Yes, without injuries, without incapacitating injuries to workers and mining operations. When discussing unit processes, it begins with drilling, blasting, loading, track upkeep, hauling, and unloading. You need to use technology in several processes. And during this time, let's talk about 2023. Now we have spent around $200,000 on very important workshops, not in the mine, but in Cajamarca. For example, a workshop on total safety management for managers, supervisors, and superintendents of all our contractors. A full day away from the mine in the city of Cajamarca discussing safety. Leaders must understand clearly what they should do to pass it on to the workers.
Okay, now share a bit. Yes, excuse me. Tell us a bit about the alliance you have with local suppliers and what the future plans are as well. A double question. What are the future plans regarding the mine's production?
Correct. Look, it's essential to maintain a good relationship with our contractors. We have a primary contractor that manages nearly all operations with more than 700 workers. We collaborate with them on the processes I referred to a few minutes back. They serve as our strategic partners. At the mine, we have roughly 5 companies that work for us. and it is crucial to have them as our allies. We work under a topic of open book or open books. You win, I win. We are open with them. We care to ensure their well-being and care for their staff.
Agreed. Now, to the second question. What is the future of Cerro Corona regarding production now that we are entering production? Any expansions or projects? Can you tell us a bit about it?
We started into an important production. Time has passed many years, 16, and now we have entered a pre-closing stage, an obviously complicated stage in any mining operation with greater risks. But there lies the objective of having achieved this through innovation and creativity. The mine would have a longer lifespan. It would have been completed 1 or 2 years back. But with innovation, we improve this mine. It extends a little longer, so we still have time from now to 1 or 2 years in the operation to continue working, and then move forward in the region, specifically in Peru. In Cajamarca, we have a project we are currently evaluating. So all the technology we have in Peru is also being transferred to Chile now that we are about to start.
To wrap up briefly, for our viewers who are not only from the mining sector but also from the general audience, the importance of closure for mining companies, right? Tell us a bit about what the mining company does at the time of closure. Meaning when the mineral isn't worth it anymore as a business since it doesn't produce enough, and what the closure responsibilities are and how they are carried out.
Look, the idea of Goldfield, what we are working on is to leave a mark beyond mining, to create projects that last over time. Mining will come to an end, obviously, but with significant responsibility from every sector. From the water resources area, for example, or how to manage water, how to replant, how to rehabilitate the operation. We have significant rehabilitation projects underway. But ultimately, it's about doing work in conjunction with all processes in the mining operation to ensure a good closure. And I say again, the aim is to make an impact beyond mining.
Perfect. Rafael, thank you for being on Rumbo Minero from Cajamarca. It's crucial to understand the work Peruvians do across our entire coastline, throughout the nation, and congratulations on your efforts.
Thanks a lot, Jorge, and we'll keep pushing forward. Peru has a lot of potential, especially if we develop it with enthusiasm and commitment. We will continue to progress. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Rafael Guerrero, Superintendent of Goldfields Cerro Corona Mine, was with us, joining us from Cajamarca. Now, our next event is the Expo Mineros and Suppliers event, which will be the MIMPRO. So let's share some details about this with you suppliers or those interested in becoming suppliers in the mining sector. Go ahead. Okay, in our America Mining block, we connect to New York, to Wall Street with José Gonzáles, who is the international editor of Rumbo Minero magazine. Jose, how's it going?
I'm great, thanks, Jorge. Always happy to be on the show.
Okay, Jose, with only weeks to go before the PC Leaders Summit in our country, Lima, in our city, and country, Peru, from November 9th to 16th, where Xi Jinping will attend, who is set to inaugurate the Chankay port, along with the probable presence of President Joe Biden. So, the meeting of Joe Biden and Xi Jinping would be a significant summit. Now, what can we anticipate from this Peque gathering? As we've talked about, it has already been designated as a mining meeting because the United States has signed an agreement with Peru regarding so-called critical minerals. Artificial intelligence is starting, or as we talked about, it is raising copper production to significantly higher levels due to the demand for copper. And so, in the context of military conflicts, I think it will be one of the most significant meetings in recent history between the leaders of these two crucial nations, so important for the world.
Yes, Jorge. For the third time, Peru will be the host of APEC this November 2024, following its previous hosting in 2008. And as you know, APEC is the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum, founded in 1989 by an Australian initiative. It serves as a meeting point for leaders from 21 Pacific Rim countries, including Peru, which became a member and come together to discuss economic policies and announce agreements and initiatives. In this meeting, Peru has organized and is organizing over 160 meetings from late 2023 through all of in line with the forum's work schedule and practices, which included the 2 APEC meetings held at Expomina. Included are the economic leaders meeting, 9 ministerial meetings, particularly those of foreign affairs and trade ministers, 5 meetings of senior officials, sessions of the Business Advisory Council, and the consortium of APEC study centers. What is the motto of APEC Peru? Empower, include, grow. These are the 3 priorities for APEC 20. These include trade and investment for inclusive growth, interconnectivity, innovation, and digitalization to foster the shift to a formal and global economy, and sustainable growth for resilient development, where the mining topic comes in specifically as it will promote energy transition, the decarbonization of economic activities, and the promotion of food security. Therefore, it is said this will be a mining-focused APEC. The leaders' meetings will take place in Lima, as you mentioned, but the other various meetings will be in Arequipa, Urubamba, Trujillo, and Calpa. And as you mentioned, if in San Francisco last year, the focus was on the beginning of the thaw between the United States and China, emphasizing President Biden's stance, who suggested reducing risks in the relationship, focusing on competition without conflict in Peru. Dialogue may continue, as it has been said that Beijing expects Washington to find the right way to engage with China, indicating China's commitment to a stable, healthy, and sustainable relationship between both countries. The meeting will be framed by the results of the presidential election on November 5th. The polls remain very tight between Trump and Harris. The economic dynamics of China recently announced by the International Monetary Fund are closely related to mining on one hand due to energy transition and Chinese demand related to construction. As you noted, the opening of Chancay Port emphasizes that the competition between the Asian giant and U.S. hegemony in the West will manifest in Peruvian mining, precisely because of the agreement already signed between the Peruvian Foreign Ministry and the Department of Commerce for the United States to invest in critical minerals in Peru.
Definitely for us, as you mentioned in Spomina, having organized the mining APEC within Spomina with the ministers whom you also joined us with, sure. It has been an important experience, not only for the company, the Digamas Group, and the Spomina Fair, but also very important to closely observe the ministers' interest from different countries in Peru. I would say the Chinese delegation that was at Spomina, led by the mining representative from China, was sizable and had, so to speak, major investors. I believe important developments are ahead, besides what we've discussed. Now, Jose, on the other hand, met in Colombia this week in Cali. 200 delegates attended COP15, the biennial United Nations meeting on biodiversity, to talk about issues related to preserving species and the environment. Does the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity relate to mining activity? In what sense would this be?
What Jorge says is accurate. These 200 delegates who have gathered in Cali for the United Nations Biennial Summit on Biodiversity is the first held since the signing of the Montreal's Global Biodiversity Framework in 2022. According to Bloomberg, this occurs at a time when natural abundance continues to decline at an alarming rate. The Montreal Framework outlines goals ranging from protecting 30% of the planet's land and sea to halving food waste and reducing the use of harmful chemicals. COP16's focus is different from COP29, which will take place this year in Baku, as this one focuses on biodiversity, while the other is about the environment. It has focused on combating biopiracy, requesting companies in sectors like pharma and biotech to contribute to a fund for compensating the countries supplying their resources. This is particularly important for Peru due to the source that Peruvian genomes represent in agriculture and medicine. They have also suggested evaluating the national biodiversity strategies and action plans to meet the 2022 framework, which would aim to give direction for decisions and investments in green and blue tools and internal nature strategies. Jorge, the potential for green and blue bonds is huge, and in Peru, we haven't even started to explore it. Financing will also be encouraged. Funding of around $700 billion a year for the protection and restoration of nature has also been promoted. What is the link between biodiversity and mining? As environmental agendas become increasingly aligned with mining agendas due to the need to decarbonize the environment, the renewed agenda on biodiversity applies to mining and energy. In terms of exploring and producing metals, minerals, oil, and gas in areas where biodiversity is influenced, such as the Peruvian Amazon. It's important to remember that the main oil basins in Peru are located in the Amazon. So the future oil agenda for regaining self-sustainability and national oil demand, as well as the expansion of gas production, are related to these agreements of which Peru is a signatory.
Many thanks to José Gonzáles. Thank you for joining us from Wall Street, New York, and we look forward to seeing you as always next week, and we'll keep coordinating all the interesting topics we are publishing in Rumbo Minero. Thank you very much, José. Now, talking about interesting topics, Rumbo Minero magazine is the leading publication in Peru and also a leader in America. Because of its great demand, you not only need or can receive it as we send it to mining companies physically, but also in a virtual format, and it's available for free. You just have to go to www.rumbominero.com, www.rumbominero.com, and you can access the magazine every 45 days for excellent material on all mining projects and various topics like those discussed. José Gonzáles at this moment. Now, please join us for the AMSAC segment, Mining Assets. Please proceed.
The environmental situation in La Roya was very complicated. Peru had to assume its protective responsibility to safeguard the health of the population and the ecosystem.
Previously, the streets and roads were mud. They were dirt. So that was where the pollution was, and that has changed. As mining assets have been covered and cleaned up, everything that was contaminated has now been covered, so to speak.
Nowadays, Alto Marcaval has developed quite a bit, both in commerce and transportation. Jobs have been created. It's almost a different quality of life. This place, as they say, has grown a lot, hasn't it? Thanks to that, we have more development from our association here in Alto Marcaval, right?
Even the animals previously suffered from the limping that is mentioned. The limping little animals that couldn't walk due to the paths, due to the pollution, everything. Today that disease has disappeared.
In these areas with exposed soils, with contaminated soils, I played with my brother, with my friends, with my family. It brings me great joy to work at a company that has brought about change in La Orola. The children of today have a totally different reality.
Well done, that was impressive.
Well, we are now with engineer Ismael Ramirez Gonzales, manager of Synergies and New Processes at Sauder Cooper. Welcome, engineer Ramirez. I'm good, thanks. Please share a bit with us, Rumbo Minero. We will be attending Comasurmin. In Moquegua, we are on the move with the program, and additionally, the Digama Group is traveling alongside the Rumbo Minero magazine to this very interesting event that has gathered a lot of interest and will take place in a couple of weeks, I think, right? A little more, from the 4th to the 8th. Yes, November 4th to 8th, right? Tell us a bit so viewers can understand more and maybe want to go to Moquegua.
Well, yes, the International Macrosur Mining Congress in this year's edition, Education, which has been organized by the National University of Moquegua for this event, and which is supported by the School of Mining Engineering at the University in Paris, also the Sand Department, Jarodi, therefore everyone remembers their own Mariscal Nieto. Southern Peru is also co-organizing this event, Anglo-American and Buenaventura. The key goals of the event are to establish it as the mining event most important in Peru in this year, as well as to bring together the main business leaders and scholars, both local and international. Another issue is to showcase Moquegua as the capital of copper of Peru and its leadership in digital mining.
Now, how can we replicate this idea? We notice that in Moquegua there is a certain tranquility, although the country is going through a complicated moment. But speaking of mining, right? There is a level of tranquility. It's a more peaceful setting to engage in discussions in a region, as you rightly point out, rich in copper, right? How could these topics be replicated in other places where things are not as calm regarding mining?
Yes, I believe there are 4 fundamental axes to replicate the success of the Moquegua region. First, it could be through economic diversification, like in Moquegua, where mining remains the primary driver. Different sectors have developed, such as agriculture, fishing, and tourism. Enhancing infrastructure and adopting new technologies have been crucial to reach this development. All mining companies, particularly southern Peru, and local as well as regional authorities, have focused heavily on education and training. Universities and institutes have aligned their study programs to meet today's job market, particularly in technology and engineering. Yes,
I would like to interrupt you briefly. We know you've organized some excellent talks. What are the main themes for these talks that will be held in Moquegua?
Indeed, the Congress program is extremely interesting. There will be Thematic axis primarily focused on autonomous trucks in digital mining, the landscape and trends related to artificial intelligence, the future of green hydrogen in Peru, mining and sustainable development goals, women in mining, a current topic, the impact of mining projects and operations on Peru's economy, along with innovation, research, and university input.
Now, Moquegua is experiencing a moment of great importance regarding San Gabriel, right? Yes, and gold too, right? Besides the copper we mentioned, there's gold too. It's a significant project. Besides projects like Los Calatos, which are in exploration. Can you elaborate on this?
Exactly. These two projects, the ones you mentioned, Los Calatos and San Gabriel, hold significant potential for generating social and economic benefits across Moquegua. Since, for example, both projects will create numerous jobs during both construction and operational phases. Likewise, there will be significant investment in infrastructure related to projects like roads, public services, and telecommunications, which will benefit local communities. Additionally, companies, as I mentioned earlier, invest heavily in education and training, which raises the skill level of the population, which opens new employment opportunities in various economic sectors.
Agreed. Well, to wrap up, then Moquegua Min is the fair part, it seems to me, right? Yes, that's the fair.
Mining exhibition day.
And with Comasurmin, it's the overall event part, right? Exactly. Thus, with Comasurmin and Moquegua Min, which will take place in Moquegua from November 4th to 8th, there are hotels, all the amenities in Moquegua we've already been checking. Additionally, we're working with Rumbo Minero. We'll have a special from there and visit some mines, which is another topic we haven't touched on, which involves visits to Coajone, Toquepala, Hilo, and the refinery. The visit to Cuelaveco and San Gabriel.
And to the San Gabriel project. Indeed, a packed agenda. Exactly, yes. Those technical visits will be very important to actually be able to showcase the level of equipment and technology that all these mining units currently have, which are first rate.
Awesome. Congrats on the management. As you know, we run the Expo Mina event, which has already occurred, but we believe that collaborations between events and communication and magazines are key, since we all share one goal, which is for Peru and America to grasp how vital mining is for the country's growth. And that, with proper information, we encounter fewer opponents to a country that has so many buried minerals and that we do not value. So, congratulations on your management, and we wish you the best. Just so you know, from November 4th to 8th, we will be with Rumbo Minero at Comasurmin 2, Moquegua. You can start gathering the information now.
The Comasurmin website, that's right there. You can find all the necessary information. Perfect also for registration. For sign-ups, great. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, thank you very much to you. Thanks.
Okay, and now we will take a commercial break. Well, as we near the end of the program, I want to mention that the interview with Rafael Guerrero, Superintendent of the Cerro Corona Mine of Goldfields, which is very interesting for us because he was able to connect with us from Cajamarca to share a bit about this project that many people ask us about. And this partnership they have is very interesting, not only with suppliers, but also in terms of mutual care. This record of no accidents they've set is also crucial. Mine closures are crucial as well. And of course, the technology aspect, so that some mines that might not have the minerals at the levels they want, but sometimes technology and efficiency can help them last an additional year and a half, 2 years. On another note, of course, I invite you to Moquegua Comasurmin in Moquegua. Don't forget, from November 4th to 8th, a very interesting event that Rumbo Minero will support, of course, and we will be broadcasting live from one of the mines in that region. Thus, we will present a program later featuring some specials on Comasurmin from November 4th to 8th in November. Remember, speaking of events, that in 2025, in June, the Expo Mineros and Proveedores MIMPRO will take place in 2024. You can also go to MIMPRO 2024 to access this big fair happening at a new site, the Lima Convention Center. Get your stamp because they are all ready. And there will be, of course, 3 talks. One on maintenance, one on mineral processing, and one on logistics. So, stay tuned. On behalf of Rumbo Minero, thank you for being with us. And in a few minutes, Cesar Campos will come to discuss construction with Peru building. Thank you, and always stay tuned to the same channel.